oftentimes it's not about becoming something. A lot of times it's about unbecoming what you've become in a state of trying to get that marriage to work or trying to keep that job or feeling like you've missed out in life and you're trying to catch up. And so the 4 things that we talked about on Sunday and welcome to the labor room was we need power. You need power because natural childbirth may be hindered by inadequate contractions. Power. You need to have things on the inside of you that's going to push you when you can't push yourself. You got to have you a tribe of people that got your back, your side, your front, your top, your bottom, and that speak to that thing on the inside of you that hasn't been spoken to in a very long time. So you need power to bring forth the baby. Just as a woman oftentimes loses strength at the end of their labor, many Christians lose heart and lack power right before the fulfillment of God's promise. You always hear that, huh? Man, it's tough, man. I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm alone in this thing. And you give up right at the point before God is about to do. Well, that's just a cliche, Kim, because I've been holding on for 13 years. Well, so did the woman with the issue of blood. See, we never talk about the miracle that she got before she touched the hem of his garment. She went through 13 years of continuous bleeding and didn't die. So I think somebody in this room just needs to be remembered today. You need to remember that you may not have that thing that you've been praying about, but you've been sustained while waiting for that thing you've been praying about. So we need power. Then passenger. Passenger, when we're about to be in the labor room. Another reason for failed childbirth may be due to the passenger. You don't have power, and now you got this passenger, which is oftentimes it's the baby. When the mother is overdue, the infant is sometimes too large for her body to deliver. And sometimes your vision or your spiritual passenger, whatever it is, may be too great for such a small group of believers to bring forth alone. And we must acknowledge our need for one another. That's why this pandemic has been so scary, Pastor Levi, because it's isolated us. And isolation is going to kill you before this pandemic's going to kill you. The isolation is going to kill you before this COVID kills you. Because it's isolated you, and now depression is set in, and before you know it, now you are isolating yourself, and you have no power, and you have no passenger, and now you can't find your passage. Where am I going? I can't see clearly, right? I'm stuck over here. What is a passage? Passage is a third birthing problem, which occurs during passage when the mother's pelvis is too small. I had C-sections at the very end, after 13 hours of labor, because my what did I just say? It was whatever this thing is right here. My pelvis shifted. They just said your pelvis is shifted, and I'm like, what does that even mean? It means you're going to have 2 C-sections or 3 C-sections, ever how many you have. You're going to have them C-section. But here in the spiritual realm, it can be a fear that, oh my God, all I hear is machines going off. All I hear is my money being funny right now. All I hear is nobody else is supporting my vision. All I hear is everybody around me keeps getting elevated and I'm stuck. Oh my God, I don't know where I fit anymore. This is what I hear a lot of people saying right now in this pandemic. Your passage is off. Because you don't know where you fit now, and now you're being discombobulated, and you've got the wrong passengers on your boat. You ain't got no power because you're still trying to hang around with people that are only connected to the outdated version of who you are. And now you're over here trying to birth a new vision and birth a new life, but yet you're hanging around with the old. So you have no passage. You have fear. You wake up still down. You go to sleep nervous wreck. Fear all around you. Listen, you got to get around to some people in your world that whenever they tell you you're about to die, you say, oh no, you don't know who I serve. Oh, this is just a way for God to show out on my behalf. Oh no. I do not receive that report. You got to get around some people. Then the fourth P is position. Position. The fourth element is also very critical. in natural terms, because a baby poised in the wrong position can stop the birthing process. The baby's head must be tucked down so that the smallest diameter of the head comes out first. If the baby holds its head in an odd position, problems are a result. Sometimes, perhaps, you're trying to go into another season, but you ain't got your passage in position, you ain't got the right passenger on your boat, and your birth canal is all clouded because there's no way that you can take into the next season of your life what you've been holding on to during this pandemic. So I want to talk to you tonight. I'm going to take this a different angle. And tonight, for the labor room, we're going to talk about, y'all ready for this? On this Mega Wednesday, we're going to talk about how to delay your labor by having pressure to feel special. They don't honor me. They don't celebrate me. Everybody's getting my position. Every time I go to another level, all of a sudden somebody gets my position. All of a sudden I'm over here feeling the pressure to feel special. See me over here? See me over here? Didn't you just see how good I did? Don't you want to clap for me? Why didn't you like my post? Why didn't you like my post? I always celebrate you. Why ain't you celebrating me? And we're so busy looking at all the P's in our life that we're missing what God wants to do in our now. I'm meddling. The pressure to feel special. By how? Comparing yourself will stop you in your birth canal, in your birthing season, because you're too busy looking at everyone else's victory and not your own. Your marriage will go to hell in a handbasket as long as you're comparing your life and everybody else's to everyone else on social media. That dinner is not good unless you post a picture on Instagram. We used to sit across from each other on a date and a goo-goo eye. Now we're like taking a picture of the food. They can't even talk to you. The pressure to expose things before it's time. Stopping ourselves, freezing ourselves, and then getting mad at God. Is your purpose dying in your insecurity? I don't know. I'm 48 years old 2 days ago. I would have been a whole lot further along, and I would have been already way further in life if I wouldn't have allowed myself to care more what you thought about me than what God knew about me. If I was not afraid to be a Betsy Johnson 40 years ago, instead of trying to be an Ann Taylor and preaching and hooping and being scared to death, trying to find my lane without resting in the fact that God created me the way He created me, I would be so much further ahead than I am now. Why? Because I did not have my P's in alignment. You jumped into relationships that God did not ordain, took jobs that God did not bring to me, ate with the wrong people, one time too many at Starbucks, listened to gossip in my ear, which made me believe something about somebody that wasn't true, that God was going to use to elevate me to another level, and I missed it because my P's weren't in alignment. Listening to what they said, and God had they to get me to another level, but because I allowed those devils in my ears. I'm going to read this real quick, and it's going to help you out on John 7:5, because if you don't get this under control, you're about to mess up everything. And then you're going to be mad at God when you're 50 years old, living in your mama's little room, when you had more anointing in your fingertip than I had my whole body. But because you couldn't get your P's under control, you couldn't get your flesh under control, because you didn't get all the validation you needed when you were a child. So the enemy uses the little foxes to spoil the vine. So whatever you're lacking in, you draw to it. And the enemy knows, you need affirmation. Oh, you need love from a daddy because you never got it. Let me send the counterfeits into your life. Oh, you like a man with six-pack. Let me send him over to you. Let me turn on the favorite song that you love. And when you walk into a room, oh, I know. Woo, we get married in a week. Because the enemy will use the things on the inside of you that you didn't get to stop you, so you don't walk in your purpose. But I'm up here on this Mega Wednesday to tell you, it don't matter the trouble you've done. It don't matter where you've been. Tonight is a good time for you to do a U-turn and grab yourself back and praise your way through. And what would have taken 12 years, he'll do it in 2. So we're looking at John 7. John 7. Read it with me. Or you don't even got to read it with me. Let me just say it. After this, Jesus traveled around. I ain't even turning my paper Bible because, it's a Wednesday. We got to drive by. After this, Jesus traveled around Galilee. He wanted to stay out of Judea, where the Jewish leaders were plotting his death. But soon, it was time for the Jewish festival of shelters. And Jesus' brother said to him, leave here and go to Judea, where your followers can see your miracles. Come on, go with the group. Come on, get ahead of God. Come on, let them see how good you are. Come on, use your Facebook status. Let them go defend yourself. Come on, get ahead of God. Come on, get your clap back on. Don't you let nobody talk about you, boo. Yep, his own brothers didn't even believe in him. And y'all mad, why? Jesus' own brothers. You can't become famous if you hide like this. What you doing? Get out there so they can see you. So I can rub some of what you carry. Because if I'm seen with you, I love y'all preaching. I like me some you, and I missed y'all Sunday. I missed y'all Sunday and y'all Sunday. He says, you can't become famous if you hide like this. If you can do such wonderful things, show yourself to the world, for even his brothers didn't believe in him. But Jesus replied, because he ain't no bull. He ain't going to be bullied by nobody. That's why he my guy. Boy, bye. He says, now is not the time for me to go, but you can go anytime. Y'all ever done that when somebody's like, do it now, you're like, boy, bye, no. I used to be like, okay, not now. I'm like, no. And it's a complete sentence. I ain't delaying my purpose for nobody. Because the same God that acts like he's talking to you about me, he gonna talk to me before he talks to you about me. Jesus replied, now is not the right time for me to go, but you can go anytime. The world can't hate you, but it does hate me. So he didn't want to get ahead of God. He didn't want to get ahead and walk into his purpose because he knew now is not the time. He says, you go on. I'm not going to this festival because my time has not come yet. You know how hard it is to not follow the crowd when everybody's going one direction and it looks like the party is over there and you about to get left out and you over here sitting all by yourself twiddling your thumbs, but you know that God told you sit your hips down until I tell you to move. So here's the key, y'all. Jesus' brothers did not believe in him. Since they didn't believe, they were trying to get him to perform. Not my circus. Not my clowns, not my monkeys. No. In this new season where we're in September, I ain't got time to play. See, sometimes when people don't support you, it's easy for us to get in an imposter syndrome. Everybody else is prophesying. And before you know it, you prophesying over somebody and wreck their whole life. Because you got distracted trying to fit in with the crowd because they were doing it. Now you want to do it, and you felt peer pressure, and now you become a whole imposter with a distraction. Actually, I really do believe, y'all, that a lot of us walk around feeling like a fraud. I really do. I believe that a lot of us walk around afraid that if we really let people know who we really are, they're not going to like us. I looked at a flyer today that I'm preaching on. There was 9 powerful men of God in my face. And I felt inside real fast, oh, I'm scared. Because somewhere down deep inside of all of us, we feel like a fraud. And like we are not really who we say we are. Because we had an off day, or because we've had an off season, or because we've walked through a divorce. And then we find ourselves watering ourselves down because maybe we don't feel like we're qualified to talk about that because we've never walked through it. And so we're allowing ourselves to water down, and we think that if people really knew how we really are, they wouldn't like us. Why didn't they tag me in that picture? Why didn't I get accolades like the rest of everybody else? And before we know it, we are stuck because we're afraid of the fear of being found out that we are frauds. What if I get up there and they laugh at me? You ain't gonna know if they do. What if they talk about me if I do this? Or what if I write that book and nobody buys it? That ain't for you to worry about. Your job is to do what God told you to do in your lane, in your time. Your job is to get your leg up and pull your leg, even if you got to drag it. Your job is to get up out of the bed, fix your hair, praise your way through. Your job is to do what God has called you to do, even if it ain't popular. Fear of being found out, so we compensate. Anybody else tired of feeling less than God created us to be? Anybody else allowing a person with skin on to be your Jesus? Speaking louder in your ear than what God's word says about you? Listening to the hate, letting them call you out of name, telling you that you are nobody, calling you out before you get up to preach, before you get up to speak, before you get up to teach, before you get up to do security, before you serve at the church. And the enemy's got you believing that if you can't do nothing yet, you got to get it together before you do it. But see, what we don't understand is we got to get up and do it, and God puts us together while we're doing it. He don't wait until we get it all together. God loves to use people with the worst past to create the best futures. When I was putting this sermon together, I could relate like crazy to it. You know why? Because I have spent my whole life in the bathroom with diarrhea before I preach. Scared, with my knees knocking. Walking down to preach in front of 6,000 preachers that have been preaching for 50 years, and I've been preaching for 5. And the devil in my ear saying, you're about to flop. You don't know the word like they know it. You're simple. Didn't even get to enjoy the process of my labor because I was too busy going back to my room beating myself up, thinking they ain't never going to call me back. Only for them to call me back before I ever got back on that plane. But I didn't even get sleep the night after because I was in my flesh, listening to what people said about me my whole life. Thinking I'm a fraud when he knows my name. See, here's what you have to understand. God opens doors, man doesn't. So when you dilute yourself When you start looking like everybody else, you become invisible. Why? Because you cannot fake it for long. If you don't find out during September who you are, whose you are, and what is your why, you will spend the rest of November, October, December fighting to find out and waiting until 2020 to scream, I got it. But you serve a God that literally says, I can make a way out of no way in 24 hours. See, sometimes we will hold on to seasons. Seasons. This is comfortable. I can't go over there. I'm scared. Fear of who? People. All of us deal with it. Fear of people. Remember, the world is missing out on your special, unique gift. Because every time you get up here, you're in your head. Every time you get on the phone to call somebody and talk to them because God has laid them on your heart, the whole time you're thinking so much that you can't even do what God's called you to do. Dissecting in your own thoughts. See, Jesus refused to be bullied. We've always had some sort of pressure. Now we live in a society where everything is dictated off the gram and Facebook. Our validation. People buying likes. People can't sleep when one of their post algorithms change, and they can't sleep because they got 20 likes yesterday and today they got 2. And it's eating us up because we're looking for validation from people that we don't even know. We are allowing a free app in your phone to decide your value. It's a free app. But we're looking at the gram. Trying to be like them. Changing our hair to look like that. Trying to dress like that. Going into debt to feel validated. I got to have those shoes. You can't even sleep at night until you get the newest Gucci because she had it. Working out every day of your life at 5 o'clock in the morning, but ain't spent one time with God, one second with God. Because our priorities have gotten mixed up and construed because we are over here trying to keep up with the Joneses, no pun intended, and losing ourselves. And with every mistake and every wrong decision we make, we're chalking ourselves off and saying it's too late for me. We get lost in the comparison trap, and we get stuck in the birth canal. And before you know it, you're going to be 48 years old, saying, if I would have just gotten a chance that one time, I knew it was mine, but somebody else took it. And you write yourself off. And God is saying, I didn't give you that opportunity because it was the wrong time. I wanted to wait until you got a little bit more seasoned. And then when I give you that platform, then you'll be able to move from the pit to the palace overnight. Because why? You'll be ready. One thing that I will tell you tonight about God is Romans 8:28 said he's working all things together for your good. He knows your name. He knows where you are. And all he is saying to you tonight is follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. Stop following them. Follow me. Stop trying to fit in that group that you don't fit in. There's a reason why those people never accepted you. There's a reason why they ignored you. There's a reason why that man cheated on you. There's a reason why the store didn't work. There's a reason why that church slept on you. There's a reason why they talked about you and made you so uncomfortable. You had to leave. Because God knew September you were going to be able to get into a position and you were going to have a tribe of people that would be pushing you through. What do you purposely need to let go of? before you waste this labor period. Play with me, man. Thank you, Vic. You can play with me. What do you purposefully need to forgive? They forgot my birthday. They forgot to send me flowers when my daddy died. They forgot to call me when he cheated on me. This pandemic has taught me who's essential and who ain't. Coming out into the labor room, when those contractions start, you can't put your legs together and hold that baby in. You got to make sure that your heart can keep up with this next season of your life. You can't be patty caking. You can't keep crying about the same stuff. Where you are tonight is exactly where you're supposed to be, or you would not be here. Even if you made the detour to get here, God is going to use this season. He hasn't forgotten about you. The reason it's been so hard, man, the reason you face some of the worst pain of your life, somebody walked you out and escorted you out the door, it's because God was positioning you for September 2020. And this is not just a sermon that I just decided to preach. This is a mandate for you online. This is a mandate for you replay people. This is a mandate for you, Limitless Church. It's all about to make sense. It hadn't made sense. In fact, you've been like, God, where are you at? I've been praying, but where are you at? He's saying I couldn't come through too quickly because I was waiting for all the pieces to get into place. So while I was putting the pieces into place, I was getting you ready for this next season. And this next season, when that baby comes out, I hope you got your sleep before this next season. Because once that baby comes, there ain't going to be no sleeping. There ain't going to be no sleeping till 12. There ain't going to be none of that. Who do you need to unfollow purposefully? Who are you living your life for purpose or for proof? When a prophet comes over and tells you something, does that excite you more than what you hear from God for yourself? Why do you need to get delivered? No, that should be confirmation. You should already know. You should already have gummies in your belly. You should already have it. When he comes to prophesy over you, you should be like slam dunk. I knew that was happening. Thank you for that confirmation. I don't need nobody to tell me the call of God on my life. I know the call of God. You should know what is God saying to you in this new season. Are you living your life in purpose or for proof? I want to make sure everybody sees me. When I walk in a room, I want everybody to know, Kim did it. Did you see? Did you see what I did? Did you see? Did you see who shared my stuff? Did you see me dance? Did you see him talk to me? When everyone is talking in a group and you got to shift that thing back to you, it's proof. You want proof from somebody that can't do nothing for you. You're wanting validation from somebody that ain't even valid, and validation is for parking tickets, not for a human. I'm walking in a season. You got to go to bed at night. If I got to eat Roman noodles and crackers for the next year, I'm getting myself in a place. Welcome. I'm getting myself in a place where I will do whatever I got to do, but I want some oil. I want to get in an atmosphere every time the doors are open, every time there's a live where it's speaking to my spirit. I don't want it for me. I want it for my destiny. I want it because, God, I know you're doing something in me, and I got to get in position. I got to get my passage in order, my passengers. It's important that I got my passengers in place. Who's on your boat? If you're dating somebody that you see red flags with now, you better break up. Because God's in the season, he ain't playing and he ain't whispering. He's showing you. He's speaking loudly. He's waking you up with dreams. That's why some of you ain't dreamed in a really long time, and now all of a sudden you're dreaming. Because it's a season of awakening in your spirit, and I just prophesy over you tonight that you're going to start feeling dreams in HD. You ain't going to be on no iPhone 7. You're going to be on the XMS or whatever that phone is. With Resilient. What's that screen that's better than everything else? You're in a season. You don't need nobody else. It's just confirmation. Things may not be the way they need to be yet, but I know they're coming, and as long as I'm walking, even if I'm limping, even if I'm laying awake at night, I'm not going to lay in bed and wonder why I can't sleep. I'm not going to get on Facebook and say, can anybody else not sleep? No, I'm going to be in my word. I'm going to be writing my book. I'm going to be I'm getting my ammunition. My hustle's going to be holy. I'm moving in the direction. I'm getting myself around people that when I walk in a room, it feels like home. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. I won't fall into comparison anymore. I'm not trying to be like you, or I'm not trying to be like you. I don't want your gift. I'm going to cover you. That's what we do. We all covering each other. See, we all can't have the same call. We all in our own lane. That's why you can't be bullied. You can't be bullied into them telling you what you are. No, you stay in your lane and stop wanting people's approval so much that you're like, okay, how much do you want me to drink? You ain't no pansy. This season, you're right. I don't preach like you. You're right. My marriage is never going to look like yours. You're right. My son did get a DUI. My son did get whatever yours did, and now you're all embarrassed because you feel like you failed. Yeah, you are an introvert. So, stop trying to think yourself into a breakthrough. You mark my words, and I prophesy this over you right now. Amos 9:13 through 15, Marshall. Said things are about to happen so fast. Our heads are about to swim. Blessing upon blessing upon blessing upon blessing. You ain't going to be able to keep up. It ain't your job to wake up anybody that's sleeping on you. Let them rest. They gonna need it when God brings up those curtains in your life. And guess what? You're not even gonna care. I used to couldn't wait till my haters and my enemies I couldn't wait to get my face on a billboard. And when I got my face on a billboard, it happened to be in the exact city my ex lived in. And I didn't even care. Why? Because I got so busy walking in my purpose that when the Bible says he'll put your enemies on the front, you are so walking in your healing and you're walking in your purpose that you don't even care if they see you or if they're there or if they're whatever. If you're in this place and you feel insecure and you feel like God's doing something with everybody but me, I want you to lift up your hand. If you wrestle with insecurity, it's all right, lift your hand. Doggone, man. If you wrestle with insecurity, why do I ask you to do that? Because when the enemy is exposed, he can't mess with you anymore there. Every one of us in this room, you can look at your neighbor. They wrestle with insecurity. We all do. My Lord, me. We all do. But you can't be driven by it. So lift up your hands. This is how quickly it's going to be broken off of you. Say, Father, I receive my mantle. I walk in confidence. I will do it even if my knees are knocking. Even if I'm scared to death. I say yes. I say yes. I will never do it half-heartedly. I will always do it 100. You can trust me. Now, God, deliver me. Deliver me. Deliver me. Get me out of my own thoughts. Let me hear you for me. And Lord, while you're doing it, give me peace. When I'm having them growing pains, give me peace. Give me peace to move when I don't see an answer. Give me peace to be willing to live under a bridge in a box until you tell me the next step. Give me peace as I move. And now here's the next thing you got to do. I just heard God say, let go. Let go. Who do you need to let go of tonight? Here's what I just heard God saying. He's doing things in your life at such a fast rate. Today I was with my last beautiful lady. And she said, this year I bought a house. I opened my business. And I got a boyfriend. And she said, but I'm not where I want to be. It's where the sermon came from. Who says you can't enjoy all that God's doing in your life because you're still stuck on stupid. You're stuck on what ain't happening quick enough in your life. And what God is about to do in your life, it's going to blow your mind up in here, up in here. All he needs is for you to keep getting up one more time. All he needs is for you to move. All he needs is for you to begin to drive around, claim that house, drive around, claim that furniture, drive around, write that book. Come on. What do you want? And what are you willing to do to get it? Number one, I'm going to stop comparing myself. I refuse to ever, ever, ever again compare myself and live in fear another day in my life. I will be me. I will be unapologetically me. And I will not want proof before purpose. I ain't going to take it to Graham anymore. I don't need to let everybody know that I got a boyfriend. Some of y'all have changed your relationship status more times in the last 6 months, and you're like, I finally found my everything. It's like you're dating the solar system. Stop being sad over them. Stop being sad over that. Stop being sad. Stop being sad and get up and praise your way through until you see the victory. Man, I love y'all so much.